First, I want to start. There was this heated exchange over if Grice had killed Jillian Kelley himself. What exactly happened there?
Well, he said yesterday that he wasn't sure if she was alive or dead when she was put in the van, when he put her in the van with Tad McCullough, who is the other his co-conspirator. But anyway, he wasn't sure that she was dead. Today, it got even worse when Tad's lawyer Cullum, I'm sorry, that's the name. When Tad's lawyer started cross-examining him, he actually said, I don't know, ma'am, I've told you more than once that I don't know if she was dead or alive. I saw her eyelids twitching, but he goes, I don't know much about dead people. I know about dead animals. And after they're dead, they do twitch a while. And, you know, the family is sitting here listening to this. Then he went back and he said this was absolutely one of the worst things. I didn't think it'd get any worse than yesterday. He said that when he stabbed Jillian Kelley, blood wasn't gushing out or pumping out like with Victoria. She also didn't fight me. Her arm twitched, and that was all. And the defense attorney for Tad, for his co-conspirator, was like, maybe because she had had her neck broken before and was paralyzed. It was absolutely crazy. No matter how many times he was asked, he says, I honestly don't know if I killed her or Tad killed her. It could have been either one of us. However, the medical examiner's report says that she died from stab wounds. And instead of 3 stab wounds, which he testified to yesterday, Jillian Kelley had 15 stab wounds. So sometime in that trailer, Paul Grice went on another stabbing spree, but he can't remember exactly. He was having a panic attack, and all he could think about was that Jillian Kelley was going to wake up and she was still alive, and she was going to wake up in a freezer with a dead body, Veronica Butler, on top of her and be absolutely terrified. So basically he was intimating, not so subtly, that he did her, he helped her out. He just couldn't bear the thought of her waking up that way.
First of all, I'm really sorry you had to hear all that. And number 2, it always makes me wonder when they go into these details and inconsistencies, is it, it has to be so detailed. Maybe it really is the truth, or is he trying to minimize what he did, but doesn't sound like it really is. Here's the problem with him, and I'm curious. He had so many defenses for the murder: shifting blame, brainwashed, lying, I was drunk when I spoke to police officers. This is a preliminary hearing. We know which way this went. How do you think this comes off in front of a jury? That's the part I'm curious about.
Well, I know that as he was describing things, first of all, it's not going to come off very well. I think they're going to have to work with him more, the state, because he's basically singing for his supper. And I think it didn't come off very well at all, because the whole idea of him being brainwashed, when he first talked to police, he actually said that when he killed Jillian Kelley, that he smelled the evil come out of her. And that he didn't have any regrets about what he had done. And that, when he was asked about that, he said that was before he had a chance to think about everything and sort everything out. And now he's very remorseful and he deserves whatever happens, except for he's testifying so that he can not get the death penalty. So yeah. I don't know how, how much he thinks he deserves, and I think he's hopeful that maybe his sentence will be reduced, as it has been for Cora Twombly, who's getting at least 30 years. She has a suspended sentence, so at least 30 years before she comes up for parole.
Oh, I'm going to get into what his motivations might be in a minute with Dave Arenberg, but I do have a question here. So there was also Jamie Beasley took the stand, this owner of the property where the bodies were buried. What did we learn there?
Well, he talked about how at first Tad had come over and it was just leasing the land so that he could have his cattle graze there. And he didn't think anything was strange about that because they'd done that before. This was the second year that he had had an agreement with him and he paid him to lease that land. Not unusual in the Panhandle. But then he still didn't think anything of it until he was the next day out in his car. He got a text from his mail delivery woman, and she said, had he heard the news that these 2 ladies were missing. And then he thought, wow, the next thing he talked to Tad about it, and Tad says, well, they're going to be talking to everyone. So, you should be ready, because Tad had used a piece of equipment on his land that Jamie doesn't own, and there were tracks from that. And Jamie said he began to suspect that those women, those poor women, were buried in the back of his house. And he thought about going, he was asked why he didn't go to police, and has children at his house, and he was afraid that something would happen to him and something would happen to them. These are dangerous people. And I have to tell you, when I heard Paul Grice talk about how he was familiar with dead animals, in the same breath as he talked about Jillian Kelley, I think it told me everything I needed to know about him.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.